kids have this thing called winter break where they don't have school on a Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So we decided we'd try and venture over to Georgia and try out a few new kind of quiet parks. And the first one up was Magnolia Springs.
It's a great little park.
Yes, very surprised, very pleasantly surprised at this park. We'll kind of show you around, show you what we did, and hope you enjoy. When we started looking around, I decided we'd explore a couple different parks on winter break, and wanted to find some that were kind of close to each other. So the first one was Magnolia Springs. Upon looking at it, saw that there was Civil War history here. There was a natural spring, so a couple little neat things. So we thought we'd check it out, and we were very impressed.
Yeah, and there's a lot more history than I think we realized. We knew there was like some Civil War history, but originally we thought it was like a month thing. But it was this actually huge prisoner of war camp. So the Confederates was like huge Union prisoners. And it's a neat park. It's got some neat history, but it also turned out to be a CCC park, which is kind of our like favorite thing. And so we learned about the CCC here, about the Civil War history. There's a great museum attached to the park that is, it's got history of the CCC. It's got history of the encampment, the fort that was there, why it was built, why it was vacated so quickly.
Yeah. But everything here kind of stems around the spring, which is really neat. We walked down there this morning and got a chance to see the water bubbling out.
And then you could just stand on the boardwalk and watch it bubble.
Yep, 9 million.
Super clear.
9 million gallons a day come out of that spring, which is remarkable.
Which, from what we understand, is the whole reason the camp was here, the whole reason the town is here.
Right. So when the Confederacy needed somewhere to keep the prisoners of war, they had already had a prison in Andersonville, Georgia, west of here.
Which ironically is Camp Sumter,
which is where we're from. And they quickly filled it up, and conditions there were pretty rough, so they needed to build a second one. So they built it here because of the spring, because there was water flowing through it. So they were able to have clean water, and the water flushed away the...
Yeah, so they were like drinking water, latrine.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so it didn't actually end up being a camp for very long, because as it opened, just a few months later, Sherman came through and they emptied the camp out.
And we were like in the march to the sea, in the middle of it. So they were like, we got to get out of here before Sherman comes. So it was built, filled, and existed all in, and evacuated all in 3 months' time. Like August, September, October. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and it was all over with. So it was kind of abandoned for a while, and then during the Great Depression, when the Civilian Conservation Corps was set up, this, because of the springs, was decided to be a park for them to build. So there was a couple structures that they built. One of them is no longer there. There was a bathhouse by the spring that's no longer there. But the museum was actually a CCC built structure.
They called it a casino, which we were like, what does that mean? And it was basically a fun place to be. There was ping pong tables and dancing. So there was this kind of a bigger room that was dancing, bathrooms, and then it was a place for there to be fun things. So like a day built, a day park kind of atmosphere. There was a bathhouse up by the springs. People actually swam in it. There are lots of alligators here, so I wouldn't recommend that right now. Yeah. I mean, there are signs everywhere
about the alligator. We saw one alligator here. I mean, it's first weekend in February.
Yeah, it's the 2nd of February. We saw an alligator hanging out in the shallows. So I can only imagine that there are lots of alligators, and seriously, pay attention to the signs.
Yes, keep your dogs
away
from the edge of the
on
water.
Leashes and off the edge of the water. Just be aware. She said there was a 12-footer. There is a 12-footer that resides in the park. I mean, this is their habitat. They're not removing them.
Now, I'm not sure which pond. There's 2 ponds here. There's a Magnolia Lake, and then there's the other one. I don't remember the name of it, but where the spring is. But it's It's a beautiful park. They actually
The
have some.
CCC also built the dam.
That's right.
They dammed up the.
So there's several new cabins here. There's several older cabins. There's also several brand new cabins.
And all the cabins are 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, but have 2 queen beds in each bedroom. So plenty of room. They're really nice. Some of them have big screen porches on them.
Yeah, it's impressive. I was very impressed with the cabins. Most of the parks in Georgia that have cabins, the cabins are pretty
They're
impressive.
pretty nice.
So the campground itself is really nice. It's basically one big, almost kind of square. The road is paved, but the sites are gravel. I'll take a second and show you our site and the one next door.
But they're all timbered and level and.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll show you these and we'll be right back. All right, so we're at site 8 here at Magnolia Springs. Like most of these sites, there are timbers around, nice gravel. This particular site is only 30 amp. Some are 50 amp. None of them are full hookup. You see, we're kind of back a little bit. I don't know how well that shows up here. The edge of the gravel with our tires. I'll show you why over here. We have a nice, well, look over here, you can see the neighbors quite a bit of ways. We got this nice little lawn area in front of us. We got a deep little social area, but it's narrow. So we went back so that we had plenty of room for our steps to come down into the gravel, which meant that the back steps for the bathroom are kind of off the back. And we back up to these woods. The kids had a lot of fun playing back there. Now site 7 next to us is just a little bit different. I'll show that next. This is site 7 next to us. It's interesting because it's a wide site, but then the picnic table is outside of the little gravel area. This one is a 50 amp and 30 amp. So there is one little gravel road that kind of cuts it in half. So there's some sites kind of in the middle.
There's like 4 or 5.
But all the rest of them are around the perimeter.
There is.
Gives you a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, heavy woods back behind us, as you can see a little bit. The kids really enjoyed exploring because it's flat back here, so they could go pretty deep into the woods and still see. Okay, well, I can get back to my campsite.
Yep.
Especially in the wintertime. Now, in the summertime, it might be more undergrowth, but they really enjoyed kind of hanging out, playing.
They did. And we found that the trail back through the woods, we walked it, and then we walked the trail around to the little observation deck.
And very pretty, very nicely done trail.
Right along the kind of comes up along the lake. There's even a little boardwalk part where you go over the lake, and you kind of end up back down around the dam and the new cottage.
And there is, during the summer months, there's boats, there's kayaks, there's bikes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's ice, there's firewood, like anything you might need is here. Fortunately, because there's not a lot, like the town isn't
we ventured
super big.
Yeah, we had to run down and get some fuel and a few supplies yesterday. Millen, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Millen, just 5 miles south of here. Rather small town. There is a Dollar General and a little grocery store.
There's a Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen and a few little places like that. But there's not a real big town. But if you need something, it's not that far.
Yeah, I mean, you forgot your ketchup or your loaf of bread or something.
The one thing that kind of surprised me here, even because this is sort of feels remote, it's a little bit on the loud side because there is a major highway that this sits on, and on the other side is a railroad. Train doesn't come by but maybe 2 or 3 times a day, but you do hear it. It's not that far. Matter of fact, you could see the railroad track from the trail that we were on yesterday. So it's a little on the loud side, but it's not. It's not really bothersome. So it's a nice place to just kind of get away.
It's a good relaxing park. It's not far from anything. It looks like it's pretty close to a lot of things.
Yeah, we're probably 40 minutes south of Augusta. I'm not sure how far Savannah is from here, but I enjoy it. I think this is one we would definitely not hesitate to come back to.
Yeah, we had problems. The park staff was great. They were helping us, or telling us today. She was like, "This one I really enjoyed. This one I really." She was kind of pointing us as we continue to come back to Georgia. Some of the ones that she thought were her favorites, and some of the neat features of different ones. So that's a lot of fun. This is our fifth Georgia Park. So we're very much just dipping our toe in right now.
And now we're about to pack up and head up to Hamburg State Park. and spend a couple days there. Hopefully the weather holds out for us and stays as pretty as it's been here. And we'll check you out on that next week. So if you like this, subscribe and check us out at the next video at Hamburg. Thanks.